Hi, I'm Ain-Krupa, and this is the Impatient Moviegoer. It's been a while since I've sat down and recorded a video for you guys. And as I record this video, the landscape of cinema and of the world is swiftly changing. One of the films that I've wanted to speak about for a while and that truly haunts me holds as relevant today as when it came out in 2018. When I first saw Transit in theaters, I could tell that it was ahead of its time, even though it's adapted from an old book. Set in France and written and directed by German director Christian Petzold, Transit stars the wonderfully strange and endlessly appealing Franz Rogowski and Paula Beer as his incandescent love interest, Marie. Transit transposes the Anna Seger's 1944 novel of the same name to a modern European landscape, reestablishing a Europe at war, under siege. Here we see a world that eerily echoes the past while simultaneously projecting a harrowing vision for the future. One that manages to feel, and I dare say look, more and more like the inevitable present. Even in the time that I've spent writing this piece, a future of mass conflict appears to draw closer by the day. The film's narrative follows Georg, a political refugee who has already experienced war. Georg inhabits a liminal space, dwelling in a caesura in time, floating from experience to experience. When in Paris, he goes to deliver a letter to the writer, Weidel, discovering that Weidel has committed suicide. He gathers his things and brings them to the port town of Marseille, where Weidel's estranged wife, Marie, awaits. As Georg travels by freight train to Marseille, he reads the writer's manuscript. By the light of passing shadows, he imbibes Weidel's words, art becoming the vehicle for personal evolution, transforming Georg into a fugitive that houses several souls. He is Georg, but he is also Weidel. He is his friend Heinz, who has died from an infected wound along the way. The oldest city in France, Marseille, is a port town that lies in the Gulf of Lyon, which is part of the Mediterranean. In the film, Transit Marseille becomes a stopping point, a place where people congregate and where they prepare to depart. Those who have escaped the camps, who aren't hiding in the countryside, pass their days aimlessly, strangers unto themselves, living out their days standing in line, awaiting a visa for South America or Mexico, and a chance to begin again. They seek safe passage by boat, a way to flee the horrors that lie ahead if they stay. In the meantime, they wait, drinking ersatz coffee and eating pizza, sharing their tales of woe. But the story truly begins, gaining momentum when Georg attempts to deliver Weidel's papers to the Mexican consulate. He is mistaken for Weidel, and in an instant he becomes a new man, a writer who is known, married, a person who belongs. But this Weidel, so perfectly embodied by a most tender Rogowski, is a lone stranger, a dead man walking. Given notice of her husband's appearance on the consulate scene, Weidel's wife, the beautiful and haunted Marie, begins to wander cafes looking for him. Only she's unable to find him because he no longer exists. To complicate things further, when Georg, now Weidel, meets Marie and her new doctor, Beau, he falls for her instantly, as if he were in fact Weidel, a spirit in love. Marie becomes his raison d'être, his reason for living. He would do anything for her, including sacrificing his own safe passage in order to ensure hers. He loves her as Weidel, and he loves her as Georg. He loves her as the composite person that he's become after so long on the run, as a person who comes from a world without hope. She is the light, the possibility for a better tomorrow. Shape-shifting as a refugee enables Georg to let down his guard, and because he has nothing to lose, he is all the more willing to do anything for her, to sacrifice himself, a self that no longer exists. The dance between them is haunting and mesmerizing, impossible to consummate without the truth, but Georg is unwilling to reveal himself as an impostor, to break Marie's heart. caught in a web of misunderstanding that echoes the hollow framework of a world shattered by war. Marie and Georg seek each other out. There's a hunger there. As Georg sees it, Marie is everywhere and she will always be, until the last frame in which she so exquisitely transforms to air. Marie's spirit wanders and it will always roam through the cafes of Georg, now Weidel's mind, leaving one to wonder if she ever did exist at all. It is this immaterial atmosphere of haunting and alienation that is the driving force of transit in both the book and the film. The landscape of transit suggests that emptiness and loss somehow prepare the ground for a romantic love. These two aspects bind to one another, loss breaking the heart open so that it might fill to the brim. Anna Seger's brilliantly nihilistic novel was based on her real-life experience fleeing the Nazis. With the rise of extremism around the world, one's imagination need not stretch far to see this film as a portent of things to come, of things that are in fact here. Yet another reason why Transit has felt so timely, to me at least, since it was first released. Leaving the identity of the invaders to the imagination, a choice that is powerful in its omission, the film underlines the fact that nothing can be gained in war, that in war nobody wins. Transit illustrates the emptiness through which a refugee often lives out his time and the banality of waiting that takes over a person displaced by war. The problem was, quote, this is from the film, not that they stare at you, your dirty, tired face, your torn clothing. The terrible thing is that they don't see you, you don't exist in their world, unquote. These are words spoken by the narrator speaking of Georg's arrival in Marseille as Marie finds him and then steps away, looking back. A recognition beyond logic, an image that will repeat like a cinematic refrain, underscored by hypnotic melody. Marie exists as a woman, but also as an apparition. She is the haunting of a man with severed roots, without a state, always searching himself in the mirrors of a world in which he does not exist. I leave you with the last lines from Seger's novel. Quote, at best I could imagine waiting anxiously for Marie as I used to do at this same table. Imagine her still walking up and down the streets of the city, the squares and stairs, the hotels, cafes, and consulates, looking for her beloved, looking ceaselessly, not only here in this city, but in all the cities of Europe that I know, even in the fabled cities of other continents that I don't know. It's more likely that I'd get tired of waiting than that she'd get tired of her search for a dead man who can't be found. And with that, I encourage you to see this film. Very powerful, and I return to it very regularly. I think of the last shot of the film, but you'll have to watch it to see. I'm Ain-Krupa, and this is the Impatient Moviegoer. Keep watching movies, keep looking for the beauty in life, even in these darkest of times. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Take care.